Hello gracious ones, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Grace and I love my family to be as big as possible, so consider subscribing and joining this gracious family of mine. The subscribe button is right below. Okay, today I'm going to give you a practical guide on how to calculate the total amount of money you will need to move to the UK as a student, with or without dependents. Whichever way you want it, I have you covered. I also want you to understand how to calculate it, so that if you have like a football team, like a family of 11, you can know how to calculate for yourself. But I'm going to stop at the family of 6 in my practical demonstration. I have an Excel sheet where I have taken my time to prepare for you people. So try to watch, understand, and learn. Without wasting much time, I want us to move together as a family to my laptop and we'll take it from there. Okay, so welcome to the practical demonstration. Before I start, I want you to know that this particular demonstration or this video is to help guide you, and the values are approximate values and they are as accurate as they are today. So it's always good to check the date the video you are watching was recorded. This one, I will give you the date. Today's date as I'm recording this video is 9th of June 2022. But I want you to know that these figures are valid as of today and they fluctuate and change. You all know, you know the way Nigerian Naira is to dance. These figures are supposed to guide you and they are not supposed to scare you, hopefully, but prepare you. In this calculation, I have made a number of assumptions. Number one, you are coming for a 1-year course. Number two, your tuition fee, I try to use an average fee of good schools with good courses. So I said for international students, of course. So I put it at 15,000. I also made an assumption that you are expected to pay an initial deposit of 5,000. And so that's what I did. So we'll take it from there. Some people don't have passports. If you have passports that is valid, good. If you have passport that will soon expire, please create a new one. And I'll advise you do 10 years. That's what I did, because I don't want to come to the UK and start running health scared and looking for where to renew my international passport. I also did something else here. So if you have this one, you remove it. So this is to give a holistic value. I put the money in British pounds for those who are not Nigerian, so they can also have an estimate in British pounds that they can now convert using what we call the Oanda exchange rate converter. That is the official recognized exchange rate by the UK visa and immigration people. Okay, but let me show you how to get the current rate for at the Ohanda exchange currency converter. Okay, so go together, just open any browser of your choice and type Ohanda currency converter. Okay, it brings it out for you. Most times you're going to see the very first thing you're seeing is the actual one. This is the logo. Okay, so here I checked this not long ago before the video, so you can see I already have this. But if it is not here, you type it in whatever currency you want. So we want to convert Great British pounds to Nigerian naira, and that's what you have there. So you can see 520. I normally don't just even settle for the 520. I just come here and look at what is the maximum. Most times I work with the maximum. So the maximum is about 523, which I've looked at and say, okay, like it's like 525. I'll always advise that you add like 30 to 50 naira on top of this per pound to give room for the fluctuations, so that your proof of fund does not go below the required amount at any point in time. So your proof of fund, it's part of what you have here. Your proof of fund for 28 consecutive days must be above the required amount. If it takes a dip even by 0.5 kobo, forget about your visa. Just forget about it. Forget about it. So if you want to get your visa, please do give some room, add some figures, give it some padding like shock absorber. So if you hit like this, it balances. Okay. Okay. Now let's move quickly. So if you have international passport already, you can skip this part. By I wanted a holistic view. Your visa fee, £490 per person. That's the visa fee, both for dependent and student. The fee is the same. If you are not sure how to upload your document when you're applying for your visa, there's something called assisted service. You can opt for it. It is 11,700 naira per person. Okay. Your immigration health surcharge for people coming for 1 year course is £705 per person. Tuberculosis testing is actually £150. I tried to convert back. So £150, about 57,800 naira. That's the amount the IUM, which is the center responsible for this tuberculosis testing, the recognized and approved center. There are only two centers in Nigeria, one in Abuja and one in Lagos. So it is 57,800 for people above 11 years. And for people below 11 years, it's about 23,100 or thereabouts. So it's $60 for people below, children below 11 years. But I'm leaving it at this 57,800 because it's better to over budget than under budget, like I've said. So I'm leaving it like that, but I'm explaining so you understand. Proof of fund. You have 12,006. And by the way, this page I'm looking at is if your school is in London. So if your school is in London, when you want to chill with the big boys, you pay more money. So schools in London actually cost more money because the amount you need for your proof of fund is higher because the cost of living in London is higher. Because this proof of fund is supposed to help you for your first year. You don't, and even if you don't get a job or anything, you are comfortable enough to stay in the UK and you're not homeless because it will cover both your feeding and your accommodation. Accommodation in London is higher, feeding and all. So that's why when you chill with the big boys, you pay like the big boys. Okay, so for London, it is £12,006 for the maintenance fund for a student, which is about 6.7 million naira with the Rwanda exchange rate. I told you I added like 35 naira per pound. That's why instead of having 525, I have 560 here to be on the safer side. Safer side. I'm just rushing. I don't want this video to be too long. And this proof of fund is not just that £1,334 for 9 months, which is what I've calculated here to give this value. You also add the balance of your school fees. So, like I said at the beginning, I had made an assumption of 15,000 as the school fees for this person for 1 year, and the tuition fee deposit as 5,000. So, assuming you've paid 5,000, the balance of 15,000 is 10,000. Whatever the balance of your school fees is, add it to this already stated £1,334 for 9 months. That gives you £22,006 for this particular scenario. That is the amount this person needs as proof of fund to be in the account for 28 consecutive days. It should not drop below this amount at all at any point in time within the 28 days. I'm not going to explain like this in the London when I talk about outside London because it's just similar things. The value that changed practically is just this, the proof of fund. Okay, then total money will now be around £28,522. This is a rough estimate. I have told you I did assumptions. So just get the idea, get how to calculate it. Look at the ones that are fixed. Look at the assumption and place the real values when your time comes. Okay. So total of about 60 million naira for an individual. I have not included things like flights. Oh, why did I claim flight? I had flights here before. So things like flights, your flight tickets. So you have so there are some extra things. In my case, I couldn't get for the family the same day, so I booked individually. And the next available capturing date was after my school resumed. So I had to go for what we call walk-in. So we went as a family for walk-in. For each person that walks in, you pay 42,000. So for a family of four, you pay 42,000 times four. That's 168,000 for walking if you have to go through. So those are some of the extras. Priority visas and super priority visas are on suspension for now, but if you have to use that, you still have to pay for that. They are outside of this calculation. Okay, so this amount is for individual. I try to create a quick chart to explain. So the individual amount is equal to this. So this is the amount you need for a dependent. Similar thing if you need to get a passport and all, if you need to do your assisted service. If not, you remove it. Similar thing. The only difference here is that the dependent's money for proof of fund maintenance, since the principal applicant is going to most likely cover the accommodation, the money for the dependent is always cheaper because I think just feeding. So they remove some money for accommodation already. So the in this London, when why the state is paying 1,334, the dependent is paying 845 for 9 months. So that's the only difference, and there is no balance school fees for the dependent. So for a dependent, it's roughly 8 million. Okay, so 16, 8 million, almost like half the price. That's so if you are coming as a family of two, that's maybe you, the student, and your spouse. I've done the calculation here. What I just did was to add this to this. And if you're coming as a family of three, you add the single person's money to two times the dependent money, and that's just the holistic view and how I saw it. It's the same thing I did here that I did for outside of London. So the major difference in outside London and London, like I said, is the proof of fund. This proof of fund, it is £1,023 when you are outside London. For every school outside London, this is the price. It's lower compared to the 1,334 for London. And for the dependents too, it's lower. It is 680 compared to what we had in the other part, which was 845, if you recall. 845 right here. Okay, so that's basically the difference. So I've done the same thing, populated. Oh, I didn't finish populating for this, but we can do it together. You understand what I was saying? So this is, excuse me, this is equal to the value for the individual plus the value for one dependent times, because the family of five, you have the student and four other dependents, so times 4. Okay, and that's how you get the value. And you do the same thing for this one, but the dependent here will be 5 because it's a family of 6. So you do this plus uh, this times 5. So that's how I did for others. I left these two to practically show you. You see as the money is rising. And then just a quick view so that you can see how it is. So this is what you have. 15.9, let's say 16 million, 24 million, 60 million for a single person, 24 million for a family of two. This is in London. 32 million. I'm rounding it off. It's better for you, safer for you to round it off like that. Just copy me, approximate it like that. But make sure that you try to create your own scenario. But this gives you a guide. These are not the actual figures, these are approximate figures. I'm screaming it, I'm shouting it too, so that you won't say you didn't hear. So I'm just trying to give you a guide. 47,600, which is about 48 million. Why did I say 47,000? 48 million, I beg your pardon. Then you have 55 million for a family of 6, 56 million if you like. So outside of London, okay, because I know I've done this before. Because I don't want to waste time, I did most of the work already. So outside of London, for an individual, you have about 14.5 million, about 21.5 or 21.5 million for a family of two, and this all the way to a family of six, where you have about 10 million. Yeah, sorry, what's this? Let's say 10 million. It's not 10 million. I beg your pardon. I just need to arrange this thing well. This is 49 million. So all the way to about 50 million if you're a family of six. So the more, the merrier, the more, the money. So with this, I think it is clearer, and I'll wrap it up outside of this demonstration. Thank you. You guys know that when something is good, you share. So if you enjoyed this video, which I know you enjoyed, and you found it useful, share. Let others learn. Maybe a pat on the back by subscribing and giving me that thumbs up. Remain graceful, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah, mwah, bye.